Brandon Graham had some very intriguing things to say regarding Super Bowl 57. Was he on point, though? Also, Jalen Hurts' progression is off the charts. Can we expect another historical leap right here in 2023? What is going on, everybody? Welcome into A to Z Philly, your number one home for Eagles coverage. Hit the like button if you enjoy the show. Be sure to subscribe and also ring that bell down below. That way you don't miss any of the coverage. Today we are back, RB, bringing you another one from the link, and I want to dive in to some comments made by Eagles legendary defensive end Brandon Graham, a guy that knows a lot about getting the Super Bowls here in Philadelphia. He had some things to say, and I want to gauge whether he was on point or not. Also, we'll look at some Jalen Hurts statistics. Question of the day to Eagle fans out there. Is Jason Kelsey in the conversation for most beloved athlete in Philadelphia of all time? Give me your thoughts on that down below in the comment section. Before we dive into everything, shout out to our sponsor of today's video, BetMGM. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. Find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Sign up today with bonus code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. 21 years of age or older to wager. Pennsylvania only. New customer offer. Bonus bets expire 7 days from issuance. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, man. Let's go ahead and dive into it. The reason I asked about Jason Kelsey is, how cool is this guy, man? Jason Kelsey, shout out to Sports Radio WIP for putting it on, had the footage here. And here's Jason Kelsey from his New Heights podcast with his brother Travis at Ocean Drive in Sea Isle City. And they're out here just singing the Eagle song. I'm not going to play the audio, but they're just chanting the Eagle song, drinking, casual, hanging out at the beach. Like, how can you not love Jason Kelsey? I think he has to be up there in the conversation for most beloved Philly athlete of all time. I mean, he just gets it. He gets it. Here he is going up against one of the sports radio hosts in a beer chug. Let's go watch this real quick. Look at Jason Kelsey. Hold on, let's rewind this. Jason Kelsey puts down a beer in how many seconds? 5? This guy thought he was going to beat him, James Seltzer, and Jason Kelsey puts that thing down. I mean, this guy is still one of the most athletic centers in the league, and he could just come out here and drink with Eagle fans and chill out. There's Travis. I mean, this guy's amazing. This is what he does every summer. He just hangs out with Eagle fans, and he just really gets the vibe of the fan base. So shout out to Jason Kelsey. What a guy, man. What a guy. It's incredible. Speaking of Jason Kelsey, let's move on to the Super Bowl topic conversation. Before we dive into BG, Jason Kelsey was asked about his decision to return after losing in Super Bowl 57 against his brother. And here's what he had to say, quote, "Having lost one now, I think for sure you can try and not let that be a factor, but man, the hunger and the desire to get back there and finish it, even though this is going to be a completely new season with a new set of guys, not the same team, you can't help but that be a factor." So, as we all expected, Jason Kelsey having a huge influence to get back out there, maybe go against his brother again this upcoming year and beat him in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I know that was hurting him, especially that night, where his mother was out there trying to congratulate Travis, but also console Jason. And I mean, that has to be a tough thing right there. But, Kelsey was happy for his brother. I'm sure they joke about it now, and they do on their podcast. But yeah, he wants to come out one more time. And Kelsey is he's rock solid, man. He's a cornerstone of this franchise and will be until he retires. So shout out to Jason Kelsey. Another cornerstone, Brandon Graham, had this to say regarding Super Bowl 57. Quote, "You need that traction to be able to get off the block, and we were slipping a lot. I don't make excuses. I'm telling you, that O-line, they got blessed. I will say that." Do you agree or disagree? I remember one of the leading NFL crew chiefs for a long time. He didn't ref this Super Bowl, but he had come out after the Super Bowl and said, the field was not watered right. They did not do anything properly. And you saw it, right? During the game, the conditions were awful. You have a historic defensive line for the Eagles who could not get to the quarterback once. I know Patrick Mahomes may be the most gifted quarterback of all time, but you're telling me this Eagles defensive line, these guys up front who were absolute monsters all season, were slipping and sliding left and right, couldn't get past that O-line one time. Give me a break. I agree with BG. At the end of the day, though, I agree in that there is no excuses. The Eagles lost the game. You can't go back in time. I wish you could and adjust things and make better conditions on the field, but these guys play through that type of stuff all the time. It is what it is, unfortunately, and you can't make it as an excuse. You have to move on, but whoever was in charge that night honestly should be reevaluated for the way that that field was set up and the way, I mean, it wasn't able to hold any water. And they had, I remember reading how they had, purchased so much new grass and all this type of stuff. And for that to be the product was bad. But it is what it is. The Eagles lost and you got to move on. BG also talked about Mahomes exaggerating his ankle injury in the Super Bowl. He said, quote, "At halftime, we're in there like he's on the sideline looking like he's hurt. We got to get him. We got to get him." Then he comes out. You can tell how tough he is. But, man, that boy acted good. He sure put that face up. And that's true. And, that's a part of the game. I also thought watching the game during that, Mahomes was badly injured. He looked like it. I mean, his face, he was playing it off. And then he came out and just had an iconic second half, to be honest. The plays he was making, the one where he scrambles and just extending plays and leading the team, putting everybody on his back and leading the charge. He was incredible, and obviously the Eagles defense slipped up at a couple points thanks to Jonathan Gannon, but Mahomes is just fantastic. He's very hard to beat. You have to limit the mistakes, and the Eagles defense just did not do so, but I agree. I thought Mahomes was almost done at that point, right? Remember, every game of the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes was like hanging on by the last thread and somehow just muscled through. So shout out to Pat Mahomes, and hopefully the Eagles can get back this upcoming season. But to do so, they need production out of Jalen Hurts. They need even better production. He was incredible this past year. I expect him to take another leap. Here are some stats per James Palmer on Twitter in terms of Jalen Hurts this past season. And he even compares it to 2021, which was his first year starting, to look at the improvement. So last year, inside the pocket, Jalen Hurts led the NFL in completion percentage, touchdown interception ratio, and passer rating. He had a lot more categories where he was up there at the top, but these are definitely impressive. And it says, look at the improvement. 2021, he had a 66.2 completion percentage up to 72.6. That is from year 1 to 2 as a starter. That is insane. 7.3 yards per attempt up to 8.7 yards per attempt. 9 touchdowns up to 20 in the air. 8 interceptions down to 4, cut it in half. And obviously playing a lot more and having a lot more duty with this Eagles team and just having a lot more experience with these guys. 86.7 passer rating up to 111.8. I think there's no doubt about it that this was a historic leap in terms of the numbers. Go back and look at other quarterbacks. This just is not normal. But Jalen Hurts is a winner. He's a dog. He has a mentality. He works to get better. There's already reports about him, increasing monumentally this upcoming year. He's looking great in OTAs. I expect another historical leap because I believe in the character, in the work ethics of Jalen Hurts. Now he has even more weapons. These guys have another year together. I think Harry Roseman has supported him with exactly what he needs. And I think Jalen Hurts, feels that tension and wants to take that next step. And it's very, comforting to have a quarterback like this on your roster. And now that he's paid, he can feel comfortable and he can go out there and just work on his game. And, he still has a lot to prove internally, but to the rest of us, I think Eagle fans as a whole, finally have that belief, like this is your guy. He is the guy, no matter what the national media says. And I only expect him to get better. I mean, imagine if he takes another jump from these numbers and even on the ground as well. I mean, he was putting up historic numbers this year. So we'll see what happens. The last thing is Jalen Hurts versus Dak Prescott. For some reason, this has still come up as a topic, like over the offseason. People continue to talk about this. I don't know why. You're in the offseason. But anyway, I just want to put this to bed. Back in the day, I used to try to hang on to the Carson Wentz thing, and I was probably wrong. Dak Prescott showed up more in some of the big games or even the head-on-head matchups. But Jalen Hurts, I don't know where these Cowboy fans think that Dak Prescott is still better than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is, to me, notches above Dak Prescott. Jalen Hurts has as many playoff wins as Dak Prescott does in 7 years in this past year. Jalen Hurts won 2 playoff games this past year, got to a Super Bowl, Dak Prescott has never got to a Super Bowl, and he has won 2 playoff games in 7 years. Part of that is injuries, but at the end of the day, that is part of the game. They used to always use that against Carson Wentz. Dak Prescott has been through some tough injuries, but Jalen Hurts is much better than Dak Prescott. I would much rather have Jalen Hurts on my team than Dak Prescott. And anybody that tells you different is simply lying to themselves. Look at these numbers. Jalen Hurts since 2020, 9,800 total yards. Dak Prescott, 9,500 total yards. Like, Jalen Hurts has surpassed Dak Prescott in every category. And I know it's about the team success. It's about winning as a team, but this team, is going to be led by Jalen Hurts. And I think Cowboy fans are finally realizing Dak is not that guy. He shows glimpses where he may be that guy, but it's getting too late. He's not that dude. I would much rather be in the position of the Philadelphia Eagles. And as it says here, shout out to Kendall Beck. The start of Hurts' career has been more efficient than Prescott's prime. Think about that. Dak Prescott's getting up there, man. Jalen Hurts is 23 years old. So we'll see how that plays out, man. But give me all your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. As always, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. With that being said, I will catch you all on the next one. Peace.